Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is LJ and in today's video we are going to be doing a 3-day 3 ways on the new Dermablend Flawless Creator Foundation Drops. If you are new here, 3-day 3 ways is a series of foundation reviews that I do here on my channel. I'll review the foundation using 3 different techniques, 3 different applications and 3 different results. So depending on your skin type, there might be a day that suits you best. I'll leave all the timestamps in the description box below so you can skip to whatever day that you would prefer to look at. I have a combination skin type, so I do feel like I am the perfect candidate to be reviewing a foundation for 3 different days. I get a very oily T-zone and I'm dry on the outside, so I have like that perfect combination, which is not so perfect really. It's rather unfortunate. So let's talk about the new Dermablend foundation. So it's in a dropper bottle. You purchase it in the box like this. I'm in the shade 10N, which is just slightly too light for me, so it would be definitely my winter shade and bronzed up. I have it all bronzed up now, so it's matching pretty well. Comes in a little bottle like this. It is recommended to give it a good shake before you use it, and it has a little dropper here. I'm just going to drop a little bit so you can see the consistency. So that's just a teeny tiny little drop, the teeniest little drop, and wait till you see how it spreads. It spreads beautifully. And what's different about this foundation is that it's not water-based, it's not oil-based, it's silicone-based. So it goes on really smooth and really silky-like feeling. It has 33% color pigmentation in the product, so you know that there's going to be a lot of color payoff when you blend it in. There's only about 10 ingredients in the bottle, which is amazing. You can customize this foundation. If you want to do like minimal wear, you can wear 1 drop and like spread it all over, and it's going to give you that like even out the skin tone but still see your skin underneath. And it says here max 4 drops for full coverage, so you can really build up the coverage, and that's great because you get the best of all worlds. If you do want to use only 1 drop one day, just pop it on and head out the door, wear your mascara, whatever you want, minimal makeup. And then on the days that you want to wear more makeup and you want to be full coverage, you have that option too, which is amazing. What's great about this brand is that it was founded by a dermatologist and a makeup artist, so kind of a husband-wife duo, which is a really nice story. Dermablend is under like Vichy and La Roche-Posay. They're like sister brands. So in the US and Canada you'll see Dermablend as a brand on its own, and maybe throughout Europe still you'll see Dermablend still mixed in with Vichy. The foundation retails for 52 Canadian dollars. You get 1 fluid ounce in the bottle, which is, I think that's standard for more of a high-end foundation. Going back to the ingredients, it's paraben free. It's also a vegan product, so if any of you are a vegan and only wear vegan makeup, this is a great option for you. So that's a little bit of information about the foundation. So let's get straight on to the reviews and start off with day 1. Welcome to day 1 of testing out the Dermablend Flawless Creator Foundation Drops. Day 1, I'm going to be using as many as the brand recommendations as possible, so I have like all the information in front of me now on the website, so I'm just going to go by what they're saying. I'm going to take it out of the little box first. So you get it in a box like this. You're supposed to give it a really good shake, and it's a glass bottle. It has like little pipette kind of distributor. So here we go. Usually on day 1 I apply primer, but there is no Dermablend primer that I could find, and it doesn't say anything about applying a primer on the website. So what it does say is to shake well, wear alone or mix with a moisturizer or a serum. So with this foundation it is customizable, so you can build up the coverage. So today I'm going to try and do like a full coverage, and then tomorrow will be more minimal day, so I'll be using less coverage. So skip to day 2 if you want less coverage. I'm going to be trying to build up a full coverage today. I'm going to start with 1 drop on the back of my hand. Okay, it didn't really come out in a drop. It comes out like, it just squirts out. I have like a full squeeze of that tubey thing, so that's what it looks like. It says to apply with your fingers and then buff it in with a sponge or a brush. So you have lots of options. I'm just going to rub it in with my hands, and then I'm going to go over top with my sponge. This definitely does feel a little bit different. It feels very well, it is a silicone based foundation, but it feels very slippy. But that's not a bad thing. Let's see how we get on. I don't think I have any silicone based, like purely oil free, water free, silicone based foundations, and I've never tried any before. So I just have my basic skincare routine on underneath this foundation. That has applied really nicely onto my skin. I'm looking very pale, but I feel like it's an okay colour match, and I'm going to be bronzing it up a little bit anyway, so it should be fine after at the end. I'm going to add another little bit as I'm blotting it out with the sponge to build up more coverage, because I want today to be the full coverage day. That is the foundation applied now. Just be really careful when you're in your hairline, because it will like full coverage your hair and make it look grey like it has done with mine. So just be very spare around the hairline. That has applied really beautifully, really easy to apply, like there was no streaking or blotchiness, and it just spread out really nicely as well. For 16 hours of wear, apply generous amount of setting powder and leave on for 2 minutes and buff off. So I'm going to be setting my whole entire face today. I have the Dermablend setting powder in the compact, and I also have a Dermablend concealer. So I'm going to pop those all on. I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. I have the rest of my makeup on now using the Dermablend Flawless Creator Foundation Drops, and I also used the Quick Fix Concealer, which is in like a little stick. I used that underneath my eyes, and I used the Dermablend Professional Compact Setting Powder, and this is just like a translucent powder. So as I did, as I said, to apply like a lot of powder, leave it on for 2 minutes and then buff it away. So I used this, I just like worked it up in my brush. This was quite thick and I'm in the shade 10C. There's a bit of peachiness in it, so if you do have darkness under your eye, this would be great for colour correcting as well as concealing. And the 10N in the foundation. So I feel like it does look good. The colour match is pretty good right now because I've done all my bronzing and all that kind of stuff. I'm getting a little bit of creasing already in my forehead wrinkle lines, and I purposely dabbed those out before I put my powder on because I could see them starting to crease, and sometimes when I dab them out it just fixes it before the powder goes on. I'm just going to zoom you in so you can see those lines? They're starting to get creasy. So that should be smooth. Oh, excuse my eczema finger. So that should be smooth, but that's what the creasing is starting to look like. So hopefully it doesn't get any worse. Looking very matte, so hopefully it will stay that way all day, but we'll see. If there's any emergencies, I'll be checking in. This is 100% my very first time ever using this foundation today, so it's a complete first impressions for me. And I'm gonna be out for the whole entire day, so 12-13 hours, and I'll check back in at the end of the day. I'm back. I've had this foundation on for 13.5 hours, so first impressions, I'm hoping tomorrow will go better, but I don't think it will. So I'm looking quite, I feel like my foundation looks very worn. It says that it's supposed to be 16 hours of wear, so we haven't even reached that point yet. After about maybe 5 hours, I could see like my foundation going into some of my pores, a bit more creasing around my mouth. I'm gonna bring you in straight away so you can see the close-up, and it's not gonna be pretty. Okay. So I have a lot of like gathering around my nostrils, all around there. It's looking not too bad on my forehead. That creasing is still there from earlier, but just again usually around my mouth area. When I was eating my lunch, I haven't touched up this lipstick all day, but when I was eating my lunch, because my oils had come through on my chin, I feel like the foundation made my lipstick transfer, because like it doesn't usually transfer at all, like you can just see the outline, and I had like a line on my chin, and then I went to like blot it away and all my foundation came off. So I'm going to do a little bit of blotting. just to see. I feel oily. I feel like it wasn't really transfer proof at all. Okay, so it's not really sticking too much, which is good. I'm quite nervous for tomorrow because it is recommended to powder it after applying the foundation, and in day 2, if you're following my 3 days 3 ways, you know that we don't use powder on day 2 and it's all cream products. So I'm a little bit nervous for tomorrow, but we're gonna do it anyway because that's what it's all about. We're gonna test it out in so many different ways. I seem to be sticky in like this area, which I'm usually not ever. And okay, interesting. So I have a full blotting sheet completely covered in oil. It wasn't really oily in my forehead, is where I usually get oily, but in more unusual places, which I find very odd. So we have a full blotting sheet and you can see a bit of transfer coming off there, which I think is relatively normal. If I was to blot my face at this stage of the day, I wouldn't even bother powdering. I'd rather take it all off. It's not worth it. It doesn't look good. It just looks cakey and it looks worn. I just felt a little bit heavy throughout the day. So let's see how we get on tomorrow. I'm going to use less product. There's going to be all cream product, lots of setting spray instead of setting powder. And then on day 3 we can assess the last 2 days and figure out the best combination. I'm out for the night. I'll see you tomorrow morning for day 2. Hello, welcome to day 2. I'm doing as minimal as possible. So day 2 is like minimalist day, mostly cream products. I'm gonna try and use as little as possible of this. So let's see if I can get like 1 drop. Okay, 1 drop. And today I'm gonna use more of a flat brush. That's so tiny amount. Literally, that's like teeny weeny. I don't think that's going to do my whole entire face. I have a little bit of dry skin on my nose today. I think it's because I exfoliated last night, just to make sure I have like a good base for foundation reviews. Okay, I'm going in for another little bit. My main priority for using it today is just to even out my skin tone. And again, no primer today. We're not going to be using any powder on the foundation, just the setting spray. My skin is a little bit more blotchy today. I think it's from exfoliating and probably just like bringing up some impurities to the surface. Okay, I think I have bare minimum on now. You can still see some imperfections. Like I have a little spot there, still a bit red. Little spot here, little guy here. Tiny bit of red that shines through. I'll just turn down the brightness so you can see that a little bit better. Also, the dry skin on my nose is definitely more exaggerated, but I don't like to blame that on the foundation. But if you do have dry skin, just take note. But that is kind of my own fault for exfoliating last night. I didn't expect my nose to be a little bit dry today. And I have moisturizer and serums and on it and everything, but it's just going to have to heal itself. Okay, so it's after evening out my skin tone a little bit. It's not after covering 100%, but I am using minimal, so I'm not really expecting it. I'm going to leave it as like that just to see how we get on with it, and let's hope it won't get as like heavy as yesterday. Okay, I'm going to apply the rest of my face and I'll be right back just before I head out for the day. I have the rest of my face on now. Everything went on really nicely. I also got the Dermablend Glow Creator drops. So these are like a liquid highlight, and oh my god, this is stunning. Just a little drop. I used it with a sponge onto the high points of my face as my highlighter, and yeah, it's just really pretty. It melts into the skin. I found that the foundation went really well with cream products. Like everything just melted together really nicely. It must be because it's a silicone base, so it has that slip. I'm worried about not using any powder today, but I drenched my face in setting spray. Oh my god, I can't even talk today. It's the Longwear Hard Candy Sheer Envy setting spray. This one smells like cucumbers. It's so smart, so funny. I must go away now, do my hair and get dressed because I need to go to work, and I will check in later. I have no idea how long I'll be. Maybe we'll be testing out the 19 or 16 hours where, yeah, I feel like I have barely any makeup on my face, not my eyes obviously. So let's see how we get on with it. So I've had my foundation on for 14 hours now without touching up. I use bare minimum and it looks like I have foundation in the center of my face, gone a little bit cakey. Around the outside it seems to be completely gone. Very cakey in some areas, like here. My nose I'm going to disregard because earlier I said it was looking a bit dry. It was like running all the time last night as well, so I think that contributed to it. But are you ready for the close-up? Not pretty. Okay, so you can see all of my blotchy skin, my blemishes coming through. That's what my nose looks like. So if anyone has dry patchy skin, avoid at all costs. Gone very cakey in this area here. My forehead is looking okay. I don't know guys, not loving this foundation at all. I almost had an emergency check-in through today where I wanted to take it off and like redo my whole face. So I might give it a chance tomorrow. Usually I don't do any touch-ups, but if I feel like it's super necessary to do a touch-up, then I will. And I'll do emergency check-in when I am doing a touch-up. So tomorrow I'm definitely going to use a primer. So I'm going to see how that goes because the last 2 days I didn't use a primer. I'm going to powder down my T-zone. I'm going to just make sure that all that skin has got off of my nose. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to have to like rub it a little bit. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be gone tomorrow. Let's try and make it work tomorrow. I'm going to try my absolute best to make it work. Definitely not loving it so far. Again, it's a first impression, so I might have to use it for like a week straight. If it goes beyond the 3 days and I have used it and I figured out a way to make it work that didn't include these 3 days, I will of course keep you guys updated with blog posts and all that kind of stuff, and I'll leave like comments saying that, oh, go check it out and see what I did different to make it work. I don't think there's any point in doing my little blotchy test with my blotting sheets, but sure, I'll do it anyway just to see how many oils have come through. I honestly feel like I'd be better off without any foundation on today. So that's really after sticking. Yeah, so that didn't happen yesterday, so a lot more oils came through today, so that powder did definitely help. All those oils came off my face through my foundation. Well, that's the end of day 2. Day 3, I'm really going to try and make this work. Let's not beat around the bush and let's get on to day 3. Welcome to day 3 of testing out the Dermablend foundation drops, the Flawless Creator foundation drops. So the last 2 days weren't so great, and today I'm applying a primer. So this is the Laura Mercier Radiance Primer. I like this one a lot. I feel like primers don't really do much, but I can kind of see something happening with this one. So I like this primer. Let's see how this goes with the foundation. Day 3, usually I try my best to make it work, and it usually involves primer, setting powder and fixing spray. I feel like today I'll build up the coverage a little bit, and I'm gonna use like concealer on my blemishes if I need to. Here we go again. So give it a good shake because you need to mix up all those pigments together. Gonna use my Artis Oval 7 brush to blend that all in. Okay, I like to start in the center. Move it around. It just blends so nicely, like look at that. And you can see like it just glides onto the skin. So nice. Let's hope the primer does work today. Just gonna blot that in now with a sponge. Gonna do my concealer straight away. Just gonna pop on a little bit of Shape Tape underneath the eye. This one is the shade Fair. It's a slightly bit too light, but I feel like the foundation is slightly a bit too light as well, so it's fine. Brush that into the skin. I'm going to apply another tiny little bit of foundation onto this area here and here. Probably too much. A little bit here and a little bit here, just to see how the coverage builds up, because I can see some redness coming through. Just gonna set underneath my eyes with the Dermablend compact setting powder. I just wanted to see it with the sponge to see how that would work, and it seems to be doing okay. Now I'm gonna set my whole entire face. Something strange is happening. Can you see those white dots? What is that? I've never seen that ever happening in my whole entire life. I was gonna wait until I had the rest of my eye makeup done to buff up the powder, but let's see if I have to redo. I'm gonna zoom you in just so you can see the texture of the foundation. Sorry, my lips are a bit chapped, but I'm not really sure what's going on. I've never seen like little dots like that on my skin after powdering. Maybe it's because I used that primer. I feel like I should probably take it off and just try again. But what if the same thing happens? Okay, it's not too bad. Okay, I'm just gonna roll with it and see. I'll do the rest of my face. I'll put on loads of setting spray, see if that like melts it all together. I've often put on setting powder with a sponge and I've never had this reaction with foundation and just pressing it in. It does say on the website to apply a good amount of setting spray, leave it on, or setting powder, leave it on for 2 minutes and then buff it off. That's where I was going with that. But then this happens. Just doesn't look as smooth as I want it to be. Anyways, I'm gonna go do the rest of my face now. It's early and I can barely even think. So let's do that and I'll check back in. I have the rest of my face on now and it is looking good. It's looking good. So it's looking a lot better than when I first applied it and kind of freaked out a little bit. But the setting spray did definitely like melt it all together. I used the Inglot setting spray this time and I love that stuff. It's like one of my favorite setting sprays. And it's looking good, looking matte. I have highlighter on there and the rest is matte. And let's see how we get on for today and I'll check in later. I've had the foundation on for about 12 hours now and today is the best day by far. I feel like the best results were gained with that primer and the setting powder and the setting spray all together. So it does take a lot of product to make the foundation look really good, but that's okay. I'm just confused, like this kind of shows that a primer does really work. And this is the first time I've ever been able to prove it and actually prove it to myself, yet alone to everyone here watching. I used the exact same setting powder today as I did in day one. I used different application techniques. So day one I applied it with a brush all over. I think I applied the exact same amount because I did apply a lot. Today I applied the setting powder with the sponge and I was like really pressing it into the skin. That little concern area, like the little dotting, went away kind of after I sprayed myself and I literally drowned my face in setting spray just to kind of melt it all together. But today it's looking much better. As you can see, like I'm under my lights and I'm not too shiny or anything bar my highlight. I have my blotting sheet here, so let's give it a go. I don't think it's going to stick too much. No. Okay, this is much better. So I feel like today I applied the most product as well. So for combination skin type guys, maybe that's the best way to do it. I did at the beginning of the day have a little bit of transfer on my chin from my lipstick and I rubbed it off and it just kind of got rid of that area. It was unblended. I added another little bit of foundation, put a bit of powder over on top and it seemed to have gone away and it was fine then for the rest of the day. And I didn't feel the need to touch up. I remember saying earlier that if I felt the need to touch up today that I would do like an emergency check-in, but today was definitely the best day of all. So I'm just going to zoom you in so you can see. Like everything looks like really good. Now it is 12 hours away, so it is a little less time than what I had the last 2 days, but I feel like it's going to just stay like this for the next 4 hours that it cleans anyway. So that's a good result. I'm going to continue to use it, so I have no final thoughts yet. I'm going to continue to use the foundation, and let's see if it's like this every time I use this day 3 method. Has anybody got the foundation at home? How are you finding it? Are you struggling with it? Is it hit or miss some days? I'm going to do a follow-up blog post with my final thoughts, so I'll leave that in the description box below when it's ready. Are there any other products from Dermablend you recommend trying? I know they have another foundation that's like full coverage, covering our tattoos and everything. I'd like to try that too. Has anyone tried it? If you like this video and if you like my 3 days 3 ways series, then make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.